and Grandpa's personalities, Lydia and JL's personalities. What do you remember about those two?
Okay. I remember JL and Grandma, they were always good grandparents, and they were taking care of us. We stayed at their house quite a bit, and they both had their unique points about them. And Grandpa, you know, he's pretty strong-minded, didn't like the noise, so he would knock on the wall if he was downstairs sleeping. He'd knock on the wall. And I remember too, my mom was saying how they drove up to Minneapolis one day, and he would always say, "Am I right or am I wrong?" Well, I can remember that too, so you know, that was kind of cute. And then Grandma, you know, she was just a grandma that everybody would want, and she was just the basic, not the basic, but the exceptional grandma. But I remember though too, yes, I forget about this, but very important. She would always tell me Bible stories, and so I retained that, and it makes it easier now that in my lifetime that especially some of these people that tell me these stories in church or something, like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So, yeah, I would say I had a good life with them, and they're with the Lord, I'm sure. And
did you get to spend a lot of time with them growing up?
Yes, quite a bit of time. We would go there, especially like during blizzards. We would be there, and we'd spend days there, and Franny would do my hair, and she did them in the locks and the curls, and she made up all our hair. And we took pictures, and there's pictures to identify, and just they're there so that you know that it did happen. What else? Went back and had Grandma had a garden, remembering that, and right now nothing's coming to mind.
Okay.
Tracy's there.
Yeah. So do you remember what were the types of things you would do on the farm growing up? Like, did you guys have certain chores you had to do, or
on this farm?
or
Yeah,
or
of
certain
course,
like
yeah.
traditions you would have?
I would be the cleaner, of course. Mom would assign me the cleaning because for some reason she appointed me because she knew that maybe that I was the one that could get the job done. Although I could have my other points where I got, you know, where I didn't want to be told what to do, and that was the bad side of me. That was the rebel side of me. So
The rebel?
yeah, I used to be a rebel. If anybody knew me, they knew what that was all about. And of course, I like to drive the car, and one day went in the ditch. One night went in the ditch, survived by just a few inches from a huge rock. And so I was saved then. And remembering too, Peggy and I, we came back from Linton, and we came back from this concert, and driving, and it was from the Napoleon corner, and I just basically took that corner, and we were like, oh boy, we're lucky that we made that corner. Let's see, what else was there? I was the person in the panorama. It was the panorama that they called in high school, and I was, and it said in my future that I would be a race car driver. So they knew then that I had some quality in me about racing, and I could handle the car really well, I must admit. So I did cookies in the school parking lot, and my friends would want to come with me, and they would want to drive with me because that was exciting, because
What kind of car did you have?
I had a blue Chevelle.
Okay.
I had a blue with Mags.
Was that like a cool car at the time?
Yes, it was. It was a cool car, and it was and it was humped up and back. You know, that was the style back then. And like I said, everybody liked to drive with me. They wanted to drive around, and we had a great time doing that. So, yeah.
Do you think there are like certain characteristics about the Raile family that it seems like most people are a certain way, or like if you have to describe your family to somebody?
I would say that I would say they were into the political stuff. Majority of them are Republicans, and there are some Democrats, but majority Republicans. And I think that might be from Grandpa, because he was a Republican in the House of Representatives, I believe it was, and so that's an outstanding feature. Then of course, going to church, we were grounded in the church and Christians, and outstanding. Each one has good abilities. A lot of diverse people in our family. Especially Tracy interviewing me now. Her being a newscaster, boy, that's pretty diverse. And they came from Russia, and I'm sure it wasn't easy to go across the ocean and stuff. So. It was hard. So they came to North Dakota, and they made a good living from it. And of course the winters here are really hard. So they had to be tough. So that was I'd say that's a strong personality there, and exploring stuff. People in different parts of the United